The cop21 climate agreement is out, and it's being celebrated as a win. There are some good things in the agreement, but the simple fact is that it blows through the so-called red lines science and our movement had set for the agreement, namely leaving 80% of fossil fuels in the ground and financing a just transition to 100% clean energy for everyone by 2050. So on December 12th at noon, 12-12-12, we formed a red line with our bodies and long pieces of red fabric to show that we're not giving up. Our red line stretched from l'Arc de Triomphe to the financial district in Paris along the Avenue of la Grande Armée to show that we're a grand army of climate resistance fighting the big corporate polluters and that we will be triumphant. It's important to understand that until about 30 minutes before it happened, this entire idea was illegal. Any event involving more than 2 people with a political message has been banned under France's state of emergency, and all week long we've seen protests broken up by armed police with tear gas and pepper spray in a massive curtailing of our civil rights. But at the last minute on Saturday, French authorities relented, and for the first time in the 2-week COP process, a massive rally in protest for the climate was allowed. Our friends had made these giant inflatable cobblestones to act as a soft but substantial barricade in case the police tried to break up our red line. But as the rally was permitted, they turned into giant toys. We didn't need to blockade anything, so we just tossed them around for fun and in a hilarious event that brought together a crowd of 15,000 people that didn't know each other. I have to tell you, this part really got me smiling. Attendez! And when we laid down the red line in the street, you could see the glittering towers of the investment district just in the distance. These are the people profiting from the climate crisis, and it's our job to keep confronting them. But looking at all those people lined up to support climate justice, I really felt like Paris was a turning point for our movement. And when we rallied, with bands, chanting, and dancing in the street, it was clearly a celebration. Not for the agreement, which is historic but not enough, but for our movement. This was a big, joyous celebration of our power, our unity, and our refusal to let the politicians and the polluters have the last word at this Paris Climate Conference. Then we headed down to the Eiffel Tower, where hand in hand we marched the length of Invalides Park, chanting 1, 2, 3 degrees, it's a crime against humanity. When we arrived at Musée d'Armée, we had a big rally and a concert under a chilly French sky. At one point, as a French musician rapped about climate change and the need to fight on, an impromptu dance circle broke out next to me. Friends and strangers alike were whirling round and round. The agreement isn't enough, but this movement is. We're going to stop global warming with our bodies in the streets, and our hearts and minds in the frontline communities hit first and worst by climate impacts and pollution. This is what our revolution looks like, and thanks to you, there's so much more to come, including the dancing. Thanks again for being part of environmental action. I'm Drew Hudson.